Why do small things hit you so hard? It's not weakness, it's how your mind was trained. If you've been trying to stay calm, stay focused, or stay in control, but it still feels harder than it should, this video is for you. You don't need another speech or quick fix. What you're missing is a way of thinking that holds up when emotions spike, pressure hits, or people get under your skin. In this video, I'll walk you through how to build that kind of mental strength, step by step, so your mind stops working against you and starts working for you. If you want a strong mind, it starts with understanding emotional detachment, not suppression, but control. The first 3 seconds of emotion decide your entire day. Stoics mastered those 3 seconds, and by the end of this video, you will too. Think about how your mornings usually start. Sometimes you wake up feeling okay, not incredible, but steady enough. And then it happens. You see a message that feels off, a short reply, a sudden shift in tone, a scene with no answer, a notification that hits a part of you that still remembers being hurt. Your chest tightens before you even think. Something inside you reacts faster than your mind can form a full sentence. Or maybe you're getting ready and accidentally spill something. You sigh louder than necessary. You feel a flash of irritation that seems bigger than the mistake. Or you open social media and see something that makes you feel behind, unprepared, or not enough. These moments happen so fast that you sometimes don't even realize they controlled your day, until it's already halfway gone. And the reason is simple. Your emotional brain moves faster than your thinking brain, 5 times faster. That's why you react before you understand. That's why panic shows up before clarity. That's why you regret things after the emotion has already run its course. But here's the part most people never learn. Those seconds can be trained. You can slow them down. You can create space between the emotion and the reaction. You can control your response before the response controls you. This video is a guide for the version of you who wants to stay steady in the exact moments that usually break you. Let's start building your emotional armor. Most emotional pain doesn't come from events themselves. It comes from trying to control things that don't belong to you. You know the feeling, you're waiting for someone to reply. 10 minutes pass, then 20, then an hour. You refresh the chat, even though you know they haven't opened it. Your brain starts creating stories. Maybe they're upset, maybe you said something wrong, maybe something changed. Meanwhile, the reality might be as simple as they're busy, distracted, tired, or they just forgot. But your mind fills the silence with fear. Or maybe you're planning your day. Everything is organized, everything is lined up neatly. But life doesn't follow your checklist. A plan collapses. Your mind wants to force the world back into your expectations. But no matter how hard you try, the world is not listening. Stoic thinking teaches you to separate what is yours from what is not. You can't force people to act how you hope they will. You can't hold your peace hostage to someone's reply, tone, or mood. You can't control the randomness of life. But you can control the meaning you give the moment. You can control how you stand inside the chaos. You can control how much power you allow situations to have over your emotional state. The day becomes easier the moment you stop asking the world to be predictable and start asking yourself to be adaptable. But even when you understand this, emotions still hit quickly, especially the ones you didn't expect. That's where the Stoic pause becomes powerful. Let's look at real-life moments that shake you. You're talking to someone and suddenly the conversation shifts. Maybe they sound sharper than usual. Maybe they bring up something uncomfortable. Maybe their tone hits you the wrong way. Without warning, your body reacts. Your stomach tightens, your mind jumps, you want to defend yourself. Or you receive unexpected news about work, about a relationship, about money, and you feel the emotional impact immediately. Your breath changes. Your heart speeds up. Your thoughts race ahead of your understanding. In these moments, most people react instantly. The emotion speaks first, and rationality arrives late. Stoics practice something simple but powerful: the pause. It might be one slow breath before speaking, a silent moment before replying, a small mental step back before letting emotion choose the next move. The pause is not weakness, it is self-respect. It is the moment where you remind yourself that your mind is not a puppet controlled by every feeling that walks in. In that brief space, something important happens. You remember your options. You remember who you want to be. You remember that you don't have to match someone else's tone. just because it triggered you. The pause gives you back yourself, but even a pause won't fully protect you from moments that surprise you. Stoics used another tool: preparation. Every day brings unpredictability. You can do everything right and still experience a moment that feels wrong. And the people who suffer the most are usually the ones who expected things to go perfectly. Think about how much stress comes from surprise, a sudden problem at work, a plan falling apart, someone's unexpected attitude, a message that hits harder than you expected. The problem isn't always the moment, it's the shock. Stoics remove the shock by preparing their mind for reality. Imagine starting your day knowing that someone might disappoint you, someone might misunderstand you, someone might ignore a message, someone might speak without thinking. When these things happen, you don't collapse emotionally. You're already grounded. You already expected life to have rough edges. So when the edges appear, you move with them instead of getting cut by them. Preparation doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you resilient. It allows you to stay calm in a world that doesn't follow your script. But the biggest storms aren't always external. Many rise inside you, and Stoics learned how to handle those too. There are days when emotion hits so strongly that it changes how you see yourself. Someone makes a comment, and suddenly you feel inadequate. Someone forgets something important, and suddenly you feel unimportant. One moment makes you question your worth. This happens because you merge with the emotion. You don't just feel sadness, you become sadness. You don't just feel insecurity, you become insecurity. You don't just feel anger, you become anger. But emotions aren't meant to define you. They're meant to pass through you. Stoics practiced emotional distance, not emotional suppression, emotional space. When anger rose, they treated it like a message, not an identity. When fear appeared, they watched it from a distance, allowing it to move without letting it take control. When sadness came, they acknowledged it, but didn't let it rewrite their entire self-image. Imagine standing at a bus stop and watching buses pass. You don't have to get on every bus that arrives. Some buses take you places you're not meant to go. Emotions are the same. They arrive, but you choose whether to board them. When you treat your emotions as visitors instead of rulers, they lose their power to take over your entire day. But even emotional distance has to be trained. And Stoics trained their mind daily. Most people only work on emotional control when everything is already falling apart. But Stoics understood that emotional strength isn't built in chaos. It's built in the quiet. Think about your normal day. There are dozens of small moments where your mind drifts into frustration, worry, or impatience. These are the perfect training moments. You're waiting in a line and feel irritation rising? That's training. You feel tempted to react instantly to a message. That's training. Someone says something slightly triggering. That's training. You're losing patience during a busy day. That's training. Stoics practiced noticing these small moments and choosing not to let them take over. They practiced breathing through irritation instead of feeding it. They practiced returning to the present instead of living inside their assumptions. They practiced letting go of small emotional ripples so bigger waves didn't drown them. Tiny habits build emotional strength. The mind you train in calm moments becomes the mind you trust in difficult moments. But even a trained mind struggles when it creates emotional meaning out of ordinary events. Stoics learned to see reality without distortion. Your mind is a storyteller. It creates meaning, often without evidence. Someone doesn't reply and you assume they're upset. Someone cancels plans and you assume it's about you. Someone is distant and you assume they're losing interest. Someone speaks sharply and you assume it's your fault. But in many cases, none of this is true. The emotion came from interpretation, not reality. Stoics practiced seeing events exactly as they were, not worse, not deeper, not emotionally inflated. Imagine how different your day would feel if you didn't take things personally that weren't personal, if you didn't add heavy meaning to simple moments, if you didn't assume negative intentions where none existed. When you see things clearly, your emotions stop attacking you. You realize that most of your suffering came not from the moment itself, but from the story your mind built around it. Clarity is emotional freedom. But clarity becomes powerful only when combined with the identity of someone who stays calm under pressure. At some point, everyone reaches a moment where they get tired of being easily shaken. Tired of overthinking messages, tired of reacting to every tone, tired of being emotionally pulled in every direction, tired of losing their peace over things that don't deserve it. That's when identity becomes important. Stoics didn't just practice calm, they became people who were known for it. They made "I stay steady" part of their character. And once it became identity, everything flowed from it. Imagine waking up and choosing to be the grounded one today, the person who doesn't snap, the person who doesn't overreact, the person whose peace cannot be stolen easily, the person whose inner stability becomes their quiet influence. When you identify as someone steady, your mind begins to act like it. You talk differently, you think differently. Your reactions slow, your intentions sharpen. Chaos feels less threatening. You start trusting yourself again. Identity doesn't make you invincible. It makes you consistent. Now, let's pull everything together into one Stoic formula you can use every day. Stoics had a simple flow that kept them calm in moments most people lose control. It starts with a pause. The moment you interrupt emotional momentum. Then you observe. You notice what you're feeling without letting it define you. Then you decide. You choose the response that reflects strength, not impulse. Pause, observe, decide. You can use it anywhere. Before replying to a message, before reacting to a tone, before assuming something is personal, before letting insecurity take over, before letting your past shape your present. This flow gives you time. Time gives you clarity. Clarity gives you power. And power gives you calm. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Until one day you realize you didn't react the way you used to. You didn't panic, you didn't spiral, you didn't break. That's the moment you see how far you've come. Calm doesn't mean nothing affects you. Calm means nothing controls you. Life won't become easier just because you want it to. People will still disappoint you. Unexpected things will still happen. Some days will still feel heavier than others. But now you have tools you didn't have before. You've learned to stop trying to control what isn't yours. You've learned the power of pausing before reacting. You've learned to prepare your mind for the unpredictable. You've learned how to feel emotion without becoming the emotion. You've learned to train calm daily. You've learned to see events clearly instead of emotionally twisting them. And you've learned to step into the identity of someone who stays steady, even when life moves quickly. Calm isn't weakness. Calm is mastery. Calm is choosing clarity over chaos. Calm is knowing who you are even when the moment tries to shake you. And from this day forward, you walk through your life with a strength that feels quiet on the outside but unbreakable on the inside. You are no longer easily moved. You are no longer at the mercy of the moment. You are steady. You are grounded. You are becoming the version of yourself you once needed. You are stoic. You are clear. You are emotionally untouchable. Stoicism teaches you how not to react, but real strength is tested when pressure arrives. If you want the full breakdown of how mental strength actually works under pressure, this next video explains it step by step. Ever met someone who handles chaos like it's a Sudoku puzzle while you panic because your coffee lid wasn't tight? Yeah, that's not magic. That's mindset. Mental strength isn't about being emotionless. It's about not spiraling when your Wi-Fi lags during a Zoom call. Most people train their abs. Few train their thoughts. And then wonder why life feels like a boss battle on level 1. But today, we're flipping the script. You're going to learn how to stop crumbling over dumb stuff and start handling hard stuff like it's your part-time job. Let's build a brain so solid, even your past self would be scared of it. Section 1. The mindset shift that changes everything. Ever notice how the most mentally strong people often have the messiest backstories? Not just a little "oops, I spilled my coffee" kind of messy. More like "I failed publicly, got rejected, cried in a bathroom stall, then came back stronger, messy." Meanwhile, the rest of us panic if the Wi-Fi cuts out mid-YouTube. Here's the thing, if life feels hard, that's not a glitch. That's the level you're on. And if it feels too easy, you're probably playing on tutorial mode. No XP, no loot, just vibes. Psychology studies show that when your brain faces small amounts of stress, it gets better at handling bigger stress later. kind of like a mental workout that makes you tougher over time. In other words, struggle makes you stronger, not weaker, if you don't quit halfway. Think of your brain like a gym. Comfort is the couch. Discomfort? That's your personal trainer yelling, "Keep going one more time." Sure, it's annoying, but it's how you grow. When people avoid discomfort, they're basically skipping mental gym day forever. The result? Their thinking muscles go out of shape. Suddenly, a rude email feels like a personal attack. One setback, entire week ruined. Mentally strong people flip the script. They don't just get through hard stuff, they train with it. They see failure as feedback, not a final result. They see discomfort as proof they're in the arena, not the audience. Here's the unexpected truth. You don't need fewer problems. You need stronger problem-solving muscles. Life will throw curveballs, flat tires, ghosting, canceled plans, surprise bills. You don't build strength by avoiding them. You build strength by saying, "Cool, let's do this." Mental toughness isn't a personality trait. It's a choice, a habit, and a mindset. And the best part? You don't need to be born with it. You just need to start choosing discomfort on purpose. Section 2. Real story. The girl who got rejected and got stronger. You ever get rejected so hard it makes you question your entire existence? Like, not just, "We're going with another candidate," but more like, "We'd rather hire a potato with Wi-Fi." That was Sophia. Fresh out of college, resume polished, dreams high, and reality brutal. 40 job applications in, and the only response she got was basically, "Thanks, but no thanks." According to a Harvard Business Review study, repeated rejection, especially job-related, can reduce confidence by up to 30%, unless people reframe the experience as growth rather than failure. Sophia could have spiraled, and for a minute she did. There were tears, ice cream, rage scrolling LinkedIn. But then she did something unexpected. She opened Google Sheets and typed a title that said, "Operation I Refuse to Be Broke." That tiny choice changed everything. She applied to 5 jobs every single day. She picked one new skill to learn every week: Excel, Canva, Photoshop, even how to write emails that didn't read like auto-replies from a robot. Sometimes she got ghosted after interviews. Once she got a job offer, accepted it, and never heard from them again. Did she scream into the void? Yes. Did she stop? Not even once. 6 months later, she was working a remote job, running a freelance side hustle, and mentoring other grads who felt like hot LinkedIn failures. Not because she manifested success, but because she built mental strength like a habit. One application, one rejection, one lesson at a time. Sophia didn't wait for the world to give her a break. She became the break. The lesson? Mentally strong people don't take rejection personally. They take it strategically. They turn no into not yet. And that's not magic, that's muscle. Section 3. Stop doing these 3 things. Seriously. Want to stay mentally weak forever? Perfect. Just do these 3 things religiously. Complain, seek comfort, make excuses. Congratulations, you've just joined the holy trinity of brain mush. Every time you complain, your brain quietly rewires itself. Not for greatness, not for growth, but to avoid responsibility. It trains itself to look outward instead of inward. It's not me, it's the weather, it's the boss, it's the alignment of the moon. Your problems don't disappear, they grow legs. They run faster, louder. Meanwhile, your mental toughness? It forgets how to walk. Complaining is cardio for victimhood. You get really good at being powerless. Comfort? It starts like a warm blanket. But give it time and it becomes a padded cell. Netflix, Uber Eats, scrolling endlessly to avoid mildly uncomfortable thoughts. You end up imprisoned by the exact things that used to feel like treats. Excuses are especially dangerous. Why? Because they sound smart, logical, even protective. But in reality, they're just lies dressed in a suit. They tell you, "Let's skip the gym today, you've earned it." but really you just hired weakness to be your personal assistant. Mental strength doesn't get built during spa days. It's carved in the trenches, on the days when quitting would be easier and no one would blame you. That's the test. That's the moment. If your go-to move is blame the universe for this mess, you're outsourcing your entire life to imaginary forces. You don't need another motivational quote. You need fewer escape routes. Stop complaining, solve. Stop seeking comfort, seek challenge. Stop making excuses, make moves. And soon, you'll hear your brain say something it hasn't in a while. Oh wow, we're actually doing this? Cool, let's go. Section 4. Daily habits for bulletproof brain energy. If mental toughness were sold in bottles, it'd be constantly out of stock, scalped on eBay for $999, and probably come with a side of inspirational quotes. Luckily, you don't need to buy it. You can build it from scratch. And here's your daily recipe for a mind that doesn't flinch. Habits are not just behaviors, they're identity builders. Do something enough times, and your brain stops asking, should I? It just goes. Repetition carves neural grooves so deep, even your bad moods can't slip you off track. And no, it doesn't need to be a perfect streak. It just has to be intentional. Cold showers. This isn't about being some hardcore tough guy to do this. It's about starting your day choosing discomfort. Because if the first thing you do is conquer something cold and awful, you've already won. You've built momentum. You've told your nervous system, we face hard things. On purpose. Exercise. Moving your body is moving your mood. A strong back gives you more than posture, it gives you presence. You walk into rooms differently once you've faced your inner struggles. Meditation. You don't have to chant or float. You just need to shut up and breathe. Because mental noise is like background app drain, it kills clarity. Meditation is how you close the tabs. Daily hard thing. One small annoying task. That's it. Delete an app, eat the broccoli, finish the email. It's not about the size, it's about the signal. You tell your brain, we do hard stuff here. These habits aren't impressive, they're invisible, but they stack up. You won't wake up tomorrow feeling like a superhero. But one day soon, you'll notice something weird. That drama that used to throw you off, blah. That setback that used to spiral you, handled. That foggy brain you lived with, gone. Because now your brain runs like a beast, smooth, silent, and unstoppable. Section 5. Master your emotions before they master you. Emotions are like toddlers with knives, adorable when they're behaving, a full-blown hurricane when they're not. They show up uninvited, make a mess, scream for attention, and sometimes just want a snack. Reacting to every emotion is like handing your car keys to a sugar-high 4-year-old. You might get somewhere, but probably not in one piece. Most emotions aren't reliable narrators. They're impulsive. They exaggerate. They make decisions based on momentary discomfort, not long-term vision. If you believe every feeling you have, you're basically outsourcing your life to a moody weather app. Mental strength isn't about having no emotions. It's about managing them without letting them drive your day. When something sets you off, pause. Take a breath. Count to 5 like your dignity depends on it. Not because you're a robot, but because now you're the adult in the room, not your inner panic goblin. Think of emotions as waves. They rise, crash, and pass. You don't build a sandcastle and scream when it gets wet. You learn to surf, you learn balance, timing, presence. Strong minds don't suppress emotion. They outgrow emotional impulsivity. That means feeling deeply but responding wisely. You can be sad and still send the email. You can be anxious and still make the move. You can be furious and still choose silence. You can't stop emotions from showing up, but you can stop them from hijacking your day, your relationships, and your goals. Master your inner world, and the outer world becomes less scary, less chaotic, and a whole lot more manageable. You become unshakable, not because you're numb, but because you've learned to feel without falling apart. Section 6. Failure is your training buddy. Failure's not out to get you. It's your unpaid, unshowered, brutally honest personal trainer. And it does not care about your feelings. Every person you admire, they've failed more times than you've tried. And they didn't just survive those moments, they used them. While most people panic, hide, or spurl, mentally strong people treat failure like a gym session. Painful, sweaty, but worth it. Failure is underrated. It reveals where your skills need work. It exposes your blind spots. It humbles your ego just enough so you're open to growth. No amount of motivational quotes will teach you what screwing up can. You failed? Good. Now you know what not to do. Now you know where the wall is. Now you can learn how to climb it or break it. The problem isn't failure, and it's shame. Shame turns "I failed" into "I am a failure." And that lie, that's what actually breaks people. Strong minds separate the event from their identity. They treat failure like feedback, like an annoying friend who always tells the truth. And the more you normalize it, the less it stings. You fall, you laugh, you adjust, and you try again. That's how confidence is built, by surviving what scared you. Fail early, fail creatively, fail forward, but don't quit. Because every lesson you gain from failure is one less punch life can surprise you with. So don't just tolerate failure, train with it. Let it spot you, let it shape you, and keep showing up anyway. Section 7. How to develop an "I don't break" mindset. Life doesn't care if you had a plan. It'll hand you chaos with a side of, "Are you serious right now?" Lost your job, got ghosted, soup explosion. Again. Mentally strong people don't waste time asking, "Why me?" They ask, "Now what?" Because they know strength isn't about avoiding struggle. It's about staying focused in the middle of it. The "I don't break" mindset isn't some genetic gift. It's built, brick by brick, response by response. When bad things happen, and they will, most people break down. Breakup, emotional push-up time. Got rejected, ego bench press, missed a deadline. Time for patience cardio. It's not denial, it's strategy. You turn problems into puzzles. You stop seeing yourself as cursed and start seeing yourself as forged. Resilience isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally fluent. You recognize the pain, then build a path forward anyway. You pivot, you process, and you proceed. Because mentally strong people don't wait for life to get easier. They train for when it doesn't. You don't need life to go easy on you. You need to become the kind of person who doesn't flinch when it doesn't. When your mindset becomes "bend, don't break," you become unstoppable. And people feel it. Even your soup starts respecting you. Section 8. Motivation is a liar, discipline is the goat. Motivation says, "Let's build an empire." Then disappears at 6 a.m. when it's time to get up. Every single time. Most days you won't feel like doing the thing. That's not a character flaw, that's just the human brain, being lazy to conserve energy. Unfortunately, your biggest threat today is your to-do list. Discipline is what shows up when feelings don't. It's the reliable roommate of success. Not flashy, not dramatic, but consistent. And in a world where everyone's looking for the next dopamine hit, discipline is your competitive edge. It's not about forcing yourself to suffer. It's about building systems so that your default mode is progress. You don't argue with yourself every morning. You create a routine that makes action automatic. Go to the gym, even if your motivation is sleeping in. Write one page, even if your creativity says, "Nah." Do the work, because it needs to be done, not because you feel like it. That's how discipline works. It's not about intensity. It's about reliability. About doing it tired, doing it bored, doing it annoyed, and still doing it right. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the engine. And the real flex, it's not starting when you're inspired. It's finishing when you're not. That's how you earn self-respect. That's how you build unshakable confidence. By being the kind of person who shows up regardless. Final section, you have a choice. Right now in this very moment, your brain's trying to pick a path. One path leads back to comfort. Scrolling, snoozing, settling. The other? That's the one nobody sees at first, because it starts with a choice. Every decision you make today casts a vote, not for who you'll be in a week, but for who you'll be in a year. Mental strength isn't a lightning strike, it's a daily ballot. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be on purpose. Every time you show discipline over distraction, that's a vote. Every time you sit with your emotions instead of reacting, another vote. Every time you fail but keep going anyway, vote, vote, vote. This isn't about some superhero transformation. It's about being the person who says, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm done pretending I don't care. You don't need a magical routine, and you don't need a better Monday. You need a start button, one action. Today, maybe it's 5 push-ups, maybe it's writing the first sentence. Maybe it's deleting the app that steals your hours. Whatever it is, pick your vote. One choice will feel good now, the other will feel right forever. And that's the beauty of this whole thing. You don't build mental strength in one big leap. You build it one uncomfortable, honest, intentional choice at a time. So what's it going to be? True mental strength isn't loud or aggressive, it's calm. And that calm has a strange effect on people. Ever noticed how silence makes people panic? The second a room goes quiet, someone feels the need to say something. A joke, a nervous laugh, or a "so anyway." We live in a world addicted to noise. Here's the paradox. The most powerful person in the room is often the one who says the least. Calm isn't weakness, it's controlled voltage. In this video, you'll learn how to turn calmness into your quietest weapon, and why people can't help but notice it. But why does calmness make people actually fear or respect you without a single word? Let's dive into that next. Section 1. Science of Unreactive Power. When someone stays calm, your brain doesn't know what to do with them. Your nervous system is wired for reaction. It mirrors emotions automatically. When someone yells, you tense. When they laugh, you smile. But when they remain calm, your brain malfunctions. It can't predict them. And what the brain can't predict, it labels as power. That's why calm people feel intimidating. Not because they're cold, because they're unreadable. Quick question. Have you ever noticed a calm person in a chaotic meeting and thought, wow, they control everything without trying? If calmness makes people perceive power, how does it actually translate into authority? Let's explore that next. Section 2. When calm becomes authority. Picture a tense meeting, voices rise, people fight to be heard. One person just sits there in steady breath, eyes calm, posture grounded. Guess who everyone starts watching? Not the loudest person, the still one. Authority isn't loud, it's centered. The calm one wins because while others react, they're observing, strategizing, and planning 2 moves ahead, without raising their voice. Think about it. People often mistake noise for leadership. But the truth is, calmness signals real competence and control. So, how did thinkers like Marcus Aurelius use calmness to rule empires and develop mental toughness? Let's find out. Section 3. Stoic Blueprint of Control. 2,000 years ago, Stoics like Marcus Aurelius taught that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Most people try to control external chaos and fail. The calm ones? They focus inward. They don't fight the storm. They become the eye of it. By controlling the internal, calm people maintain mental toughness, make better decisions, and influence without force. Now that we understand the mindset, how can we train ourselves to stay calm under pressure? Section 4. The Breath Weapon. Here's a brain hack. 4, 7, 8 breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Used by Navy SEALs, monks, and therapists, this technique slows your heartbeat and rewires your nervous system. Do it daily. You're not just acting calm. You're training calm into your system. Stress circuits quiet down. Mental toughness strengthens. Try it during a chaotic call or workday. Calmness spreads faster than any pep talk. Breathing sets the internal calm. But what about how we use silence externally? Section 5. Strategic Silence. Next time you speak, pause for 3 seconds after someone finishes. Watch what happens. They'll squirm, over-explain, and fill the space. Only the insecure rush to break silence. Speak slower, move less. Every word hits harder. not because it's louder, but because it's rare. Use this in texts, emails, meetings, even negotiations. Strategic silence works anywhere. Silence is powerful, but calmness is also communicated through the body. How? Section 6. The calm persona. Your body communicates calm or chaos. Keep shoulders low, hands visible, posture steady. A stick figure standing tall with still hands looks more powerful than a dozen waving arms. Stillness signals dominance. Movement signals nervousness. Predators don't fidget, humans overthink. Visualize calm as a stick figure animation, a daily cue for mental toughness and self-improvement. If your body and breathing are calm, how do you practice calmness daily? Section 7. Daily Calm Practice. Build calm like a muscle. Start small, 2 minutes of breathing, 2 minutes of silence. Move slowly and deliberately. Track progress. How many times today did I stay calm instead of reacting? Every choice builds or breaks your calm. Mental toughness is trained one calm choice at a time. Calm is great personally, but how does it impact decision-making in real life? Section 8. Calmness in decision-making. Calm minds make smarter decisions. Studies in cognitive psychology show regulated emotions improve problem-solving, prioritization, and long-term planning. While everyone panics, the calm person sees opportunities others miss. Mentally strong, emotionally intelligent. Calm people get ahead in life, work, and even side hustles. Decision-making leads to influence. But how does calmness shape social perception? Section 9. Social influence and perception. Calmness changes how people perceive you. Behavioral psychology proves calm. People are seen as more competent, trustworthy, and persuasive. By staying calm, you quietly guide reactions, shaping relationships, leadership, and social dynamics. Calmness affects influence. But what about handling pressure in work, business, and productivity? Stay with me. The next section shows how calmness can actually boost productivity and income. Section 10. Calmness under pressure. Workplace and productivity. Deadlines, emails, meetings piling up. Calmness is your secret productivity weapon. You prioritize faster, focus deeper, and even spot side hustles or passive income opportunities while others overreact. Calmness isn't just zen. It's mental toughness, productivity, and financial advantage all in one. Which brings us to how calmness translates into real business and financial wins. Section 11. Calmness in business, finance, and money. Imagine negotiating a deal, investing, or building a side hustle while everyone else panics. Who wins? The calm one. Stress clouds judgment. Impulsive decisions cost money. Calm people see opportunities others miss. By staying composed, you spot patterns in markets or tech trends. You negotiate better deals. You strategically grow side hustles or passive income streams. Your calmness becomes a financial superpower, giving you an edge in business, tech, and life. Calmness isn't just skill. It becomes part of your identity. Now let's take that same calm energy out of the boardroom and into your relationships. Section 12. Emotional control in relationships. Calmness isn't just for work, it's survival in relationships. When someone argues, provokes, or guilt trips you, your calmness is the boundary that keeps their chaos from becoming yours. You stop matching their tone. You start protecting your peace. It's not that you don't care, you just refuse to perform for someone else's storm. In love, friendships, or family, emotional control makes people respect you more even if they can't admit it. Because calmness says, I love you, but I won't lose myself to prove it. That same emotional balance is what makes calm people natural leaders. Now let's talk about how this same calm turns ordinary people into natural leaders. Section 13. Calmness in leadership. Leadership isn't about commanding, it's about composure. People trust leaders who don't panic under pressure. The calm leader sets the tone. If they breathe slow, everyone else follows. Even in chaos, calm leaders make others feel safe. That's real influence. Think about it. We remember the boss who stayed steady when everyone else lost it. Calmness builds loyalty faster than charisma ever could. But calmness isn't just for leading. It's also for defending yourself when the world starts criticizing. But what happens when calmness is tested? When people criticize, challenge, or misunderstand you? Let's break that down. Section 14. Handling criticism and conflict. The calmest person in the room doesn't defend. They decide. When people throw shade or twist your words, reacting gives them control. Calm people pause. They don't take things personal, and they take them as data. Every insult reveals more about the speaker than the target. When you stay calm under criticism, you confuse people who expect you to break. You turn conflict into information, not injury. That's emotional intelligence disguised as silence. And that emotional discipline is what leads to your final shift. When calm stops being something you do and becomes who you are. Identity shift. You are the calm. You don't pretend anymore. You become calm. People test you, they provoke you, they want a reaction. Because your peace disturbs their chaos. You won't bite. You've outgrown the need to respond to noise. You are the still point in everyone else's storm. Here's the truth. Calm doesn't mean nothing bothers you. It means you've learned what's worth your energy. You stop fighting every noise, every opinion, every chaos that doesn't deserve your peace. Because not everything needs a reaction. Some things just need your silence. That's your real power. The calm you build inside becomes the control you have outside. So the next time someone tries to shake your peace, just smile. You've already won the battle they're still fighting in their head. Because once you master calm, you start winning battles most people don't even see. When you stay calm, the next challenge isn't strength, it's control. Especially when things don't go your way. You don't stay angry because people are impossible. You stay angry because no one ever taught you how emotions actually work. One comment, one tone of voice, one text message, and suddenly your whole body reacts like it's been punched. Your mind replays the scene, your chest tightens, and long after the moment ends, the anger stays. But here's the truth almost nobody learns. The chemicals behind anger naturally dissolve in about 90 seconds. Everything after that isn't biology, it's the story we continue feeding. Today you'll learn how calm people stay calm. Not because life is easy, but because they understand what their emotions are trying to tell them. People can't push your buttons unless those buttons already exist. Every trigger you have is connected to something deeper. An old wound, a past criticism, a forgotten insecurity. When someone sets you off, they're not creating the reaction. They're revealing what still hurts. Ask yourself, what is this really reminding me of? Not, what did they do? But what inside me reacted? The moment you see the wound, the button loses its power. Who triggers you the most? And what deeper truth might that reveal? Anger is rarely the first emotion you feel. It's the bodyguard. Anger steps forward to protect softer emotions like hurt, fear, or shame. That's why anger feels loud, sharp, and immediate, but underneath it is something quieter that needs understanding. When you are angry, pause and ask, if anger stepped aside, what feeling would be underneath? When you address the true emotion, the anger dissolves on its own. What's the last situation where anger hid something softer? Between the trigger and your reaction, there's a tiny gap. And that gap is your superpower. Your body reacts instantly, but your response is not automatic. There's a small pause, often less than 1 second, where you get to choose who you'll be next. Ask yourself, what response will I be proud of tomorrow? Calm people aren't calmer, they're just better at finding the gap. What's one recent moment where a pause could have changed everything? You can feel anger without becoming anger. Inside you is an observing part, the calm narrator. It notices emotions without being swallowed by them. Use the phrase, I'm noticing anger rising, instead of, this person is making me angry. The moment you observe the emotion, you're no longer controlled by it. What emotion do you get swept away by the fastest? Every difficult person in your life is training a part of you. The impatient person builds your patience. The critical person builds your boundaries. The unpredictable person builds your emotional stability. When triggered, ask, what skill is this person helping me practice? They stop being your obstacle and become your gym. Which person in your life is unintentionally training you? Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you control. A good boundary doesn't shut people out, and it simply teaches them how to treat you. Use gentle but firm language. I want to talk about this, but not while you're yelling. Or, I can listen, but only for 5 minutes unless we're problem solving. Boundaries don't hurt relationships, They keep them from draining you. Where in your life are you giving more energy than you can afford? Walking away isn't avoiding the problem. It's protecting the solution. Your brain cannot think clearly when overwhelmed. A temporary pause resets your nervous system and prevents long-term damage. Say, I want to continue this, but I need a moment so I don't say something I'll regret. 5 minutes of space can save 5 hours of repair. When is the last time you needed a break, but pushed through? Your triggers are not random. They follow a pattern. Certain tones, behaviors, or situations echo old experiences. Mapping them makes your emotional reactions predictable and manageable. Trigger journal, 1 week. Who triggered me? What did they do? What did it remind me of? When you see the landmine, you stop stepping on it. What pattern keeps repeating in your triggers? You can care deeply without absorbing someone else's emotional storm. Compassionate distance means staying connected, without drowning in another person's chaos. Say, I'm here for you, but I can only hold this with you, not for you. You become more helpful by staying emotionally steady. Whose emotions do you carry more than you should? You're not reacting to reality. You're reacting to the story you tell about it. The tone in an email, the pause in a text, the look someone gives. Your brain fills in the blanks, often with the worst-case interpretation. What's another possible story here? Change the story, and the emotion changes with it. What story do you often tell yourself that creates unnecessary pain? You're not someone who gets angry easily. You are someone learning to understand emotions before they take over. Start with one tool, practice it gently. Let emotional mastery build quietly in the background. Your peace becomes unshakable the moment you learn how to protect it. Anger often isn't about the situation. It's about how we think others see us. Which leads to a deeper question. Why do we care so much in the first place? How to stop caring what people think? You don't fear people, you fear their opinions. That's the part that actually controls your life. And if you're being honest, you've stopped yourself from doing more things out of embarrassment than actual danger. You've deleted posts, reheated arguments in the shower, overthought simple decisions, and replayed conversations like a detective trying to solve a crime that never happened. And here's the twist. 95% of the people you're scared of aren't even thinking about you at all. Today, you're going to learn the psychology that frees you from other people's opinions, scientifically, emotionally, mentally. Okay, so why do you feel like everyone's watching you? Let's start with the spotlight effect. Chapter 1. The spotlight effect: why you think everyone is watching you. Ever tripped in public, dropped something, and then spent the next 5 years thinking about it? That's the spotlight effect. Your brain lying to you, telling you the whole world noticed your mistake and is secretly forming a support group about it. But the truth? Everyone else is busy starring in their own movie. They're not analyzing your walk, your shirt, your hair, or the way you said bye too fast. Imagine a stick figure walking through a crowd. You think all the thought bubbles around them say, look at them. Cringe. What are they doing? But in reality, most bubbles say, I'm tired. What should I eat later? I hate Mondays. You care too much because you think you're the center of attention. You're not. No one is. And when you finally accept that, you'll feel something wild. Freedom. So you think everyone's watching, but why do you need their approval in the first place? That's where the approval loop lives. Chapter 2. The approval addiction loop. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You were wired to care. Humans survived by fitting in. Being rejected from the tribe used to mean you literally die. So your brain still treats disapproval like a life or death situation. That's why you delete posts, overthink texts, apologize too much, replay mistakes, and wait for permission to take action. You've been trained to seek the green check mark of approval instead of building your own. Picture a stick figure holding a sign. Do you like me? Yes or no? Walking around asking the world to validate them. The more you rely on external approval, the less you trust your own judgment. But the moment you learn to approve yourself first, you break the loop, and that's where real confidence begins. You're trapped in the loop. Want to know if you're actually stuck? Here are 3 tiny signs you care way too much. Chapter 3. 3 signs that you care too much about opinions. Let's get brutally honest. Sign number 1. You apologize for things no one found offensive. Sorry for bothering you. Sorry for existing. Sorry for taking up space. You turn normal moments into mini crimes. Sign number 2. You rehearse conversations. Alone. In the shower, in your car, on your bed, winning imaginary arguments against imaginary people who are not even thinking about you. Sign number 3. You avoid doing things unless they're acceptable. You hide your ideas. You care more about looking confident than actually being confident. You shrink yourself for people who wouldn't shrink for you. These signs don't mean you're weak. They mean your brain is protecting you from threats that don't exist anymore. Those little habits don't just annoy you, they quietly steal your confidence. Here's how that theft actually happens. Chapter 4. How caring too much destroys confidence. Confidence doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes like a slow leak. Every time you change yourself to please someone, your identity shrinks. Imagine a stick figure slowly erasing parts of itself, their voice, their opinions, their style, their curiosity. You're not losing confidence, you're trading it. Trading your authenticity for approval. And here's the dangerous part. When you care too much about what others think, you never become who you want to be. You become a collage of everyone else's expectations. Confidence isn't built by being perfect. It's built by being real, even when it feels uncomfortable. Okay, confidence leaking. Now let's zoom in on the brain trick that makes you think people are judging you. Mind reading. Chapter 5. Cognitive distortion. Mind reading. One of the biggest psychological traps? Mind reading. That moment when you assume, they think I'm weird. They think I'm awkward. They think I'm not good enough. Pause. Who told you that? Your imagination. Mind reading is your brain trying to protect you by predicting social danger. But the predictions are almost always wrong. Imagine a stick figure thinking, they're judging me. Meanwhile, the other stick figure is thinking, I hope no one notices how sweaty I am. Everyone is busy worrying about themselves. When you stop guessing people's thoughts, you start living your own life. If you've been mind reading, then you're carrying a weight you didn't need. Here's a fact that will set you free. The 5% rule. Chapter 6. The 5% rule. No one is actually watching you. Here's something that will change your entire life. Only 5% of people notice you, and 80% of them forget within minutes. Let that sink in. You're carrying shame from things people forgot the moment they happened. You're replaying mistakes that no one remembers. You're living trapped in a memory that only you have access to. Imagine a stick figure walking through a crowd. Thought bubbles pop immediately like soap bubbles. That's how fast people forget. The 5% rule means you're free. You just didn't know it. Freeing fact noted. But freedom without practice is just hope. Here are the tools you can actually use. Starting today. Chapter 7. Tools to break the validation habit. Time for the practical part. Tool 1. The 3-second action rule. If something takes 3 seconds of courage, say it, do it, start it. Don't give your brain time to panic. Tool 2. The daily ego challenge. Do one tiny thing every day that scares your ego. Wear something you like. Share your opinion. Say no. Be seen trying or post without over-editing. Tool 3. The EAP loop. You feel scared? Take action anyway. Your brain sees proof and confidence grows. You don't think your way into confidence, you prove your way into it. Small wins stack into a new identity. Ready to stop asking permission and start owning your life? This last part is the mindset flip. This is where everything changes. Confidence isn't a skill, it's an identity. You stop caring what people think when you stop needing their permission to exist. Picture a stick figure standing still, while judgment bubbles float around and fade like static. They don't fight, they don't hide, they don't shrink. They simply stand unbothered. Because strong minds don't need approval, they create it. You've got the idea, the tools, and the identity shift. Now here's the final thing to do with all of it. One small action that makes it real. You can't control what people think, but you can control who you become. And once you stop living for the crowd, you start living for yourself. Confidence helps when things are normal, but life isn't always calm. Eventually, pressure shows up. Why most people break under pressure, and how to stop being one of them. Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because the moment pressure hits, their brain does the Windows error sound and shuts down. Tiny problems feel like disasters. Simple tasks feel like boss battles. And the second life gets even slightly inconvenient, you're ready to emotionally evaporate. Here's the truth nobody told you. Pressure doesn't break you. Your lack of preparation for pressure does. And today, you're going to learn exactly why your brain collapses and how to build the kind of mental strength that makes chaos nervous. Let's begin. Before we fix why you break, we need to talk about why pressure feels so heavy in the first place. Chapter 1. The Pressure Myth. Why you break faster than you should. Most people think pressure is the enemy, but pressure is neutral. It's just energy. Imagine a stick figure holding a 10-pound weight. If you've trained, it's nothing. If you haven't, you collapse dramatically like a Victorian princess fainting. Pressure isn't the problem. It's your relationship with pressure. Your brain labels discomfort as danger. Stressful email, danger. Unexpected task, danger. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real danger and mild inconvenience, so it treats everything like a lion attack. Understanding this is step 1. Okay, pressure isn't the enemy. So what is? Let's look at the real culprit. Mental overload. Chapter 2. Mental overload. The real reason you collapse. You don't break because of the pressure in front of you. You break because of the pressure already inside you. Most people walk around with a mental inbox that has 3,984 unread emails, unprocessed emotions, unfinished tasks, unresolved anxiety, constant overthinking, expectations, regrets, noise. So when life adds one more thing, your brain screams system failure because it was already at max capacity. Imagine a stick figure trying to balance 20 thought bubbles, and then life hands them one more and tells you, hey, do this too. Boom! You don't need less pressure, you need more space inside your mind. Now that your mental storage is full, here's what actually pushes you over the edge. Chapter 3. The 3 types of pressure that break you. There are 3 kinds of pressure that make you fall apart, and you probably experience all of them. 1. Self-pressure, perfectionism. You expect yourself to never fail, never struggle, never make mistakes. 2. Social pressure, judgment. You're scared of looking stupid, failing publicly, being misunderstood. 3. Silent pressure, unspoken expectations. The invisible kind you carry. Be successful, be stable, be strong, be fine. Then imagine a stick figure juggling all 3. Every ball is labeled "do not drop." And then all 3 dropped instantly. Most people aren't weak, they're overloaded. And when overload hits, your brain activates its worst habit, the panic spiral. Chapter 4. Why you fold, the panic spiral. Here's how your brain breaks. Pressure, fear, overthinking, catastrophic thinking, shutdown. It's not the event that destroys you. It's the story your brain tells about the event. You get one setback and suddenly, this always happens. I can't do this. My life is falling apart. Imagine a stick figure stuck in a whirlpool of thought bubbles. Each one gets louder. Each one gets darker. That's the panic spiral. Once you're inside it, your brain isn't thinking, it's surviving. But here's the twist. Staying calm under pressure is not a personality trait. It's a skill. So let's talk about the skill that unbreakable people train. Chapter 5. The skill of staying calm, not a personality trait. Calm people aren't born calm. They train calm. They microdose discomfort. They do small hard things regularly so real pressure feels normal. Cold showers, talking to strangers, handling irritation without reacting, sitting with discomfort instead of escaping, doing tasks even when they don't feel ready. Picture a stick figure doing tiny reps, one drop of discomfort at a time until discomfort becomes familiar. Calm is not the absence of stress. Calm is the ability to function with stress. Once you learn calm, the next step is learning how to bend instead of break. Chapter 6. The elastic mind. Bend, don't break. Mentally weak people are rigid. One unexpected problem and snap, their whole identity cracks. Mentally strong people are elastic. They bend, they adapt, they pivot, they breathe, they absorb the impact without shattering. Imagine a stick figure bending under pressure like a flexible branch, then springing back stronger. Elasticity makes you unbreakable. It's not about being fearless, and it's about not collapsing the moment things don't go your way. You're elastic. Now let's give you the tools to stay that way. Chapter 7. Tools to stop breaking under pressure. Here's your pressure-proof toolkit, the 5-breath reset. 5 slow breaths equals nervous system reboot. Simple but powerful. Break the task into micro-wins. Your brain collapses when things feel too big. Shrink tasks until they feel safe. Reframe pressure as training. Say this. 1. This is system training. This is an instant mindset shift. 2. The 1-minute grounding rule. Focus on your senses for 60 seconds. Brings you out of panic and back into control. 3. Move your body, change your state. Stress is physical and motion dissolves pressure. Imagine a stick figure switching from shaking to standing solid. These tools don't remove pressure, they teach your brain how to handle it. And once you can handle pressure, you become someone chaos can't break. Chapter 8. Becoming the person that chaos can't break. Here's the final truth. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the strength of your foundation. Pressure isn't a test. It's a mirror. It shows you exactly where you're weak, so you can strengthen it. Picture a stick figure standing calm while storms, deadlines, expectations, and chaos swirl around. But never touch them. That's who you're becoming, not someone pressure destroys. Someone pressure respects. You've learned the science, the skills, the identity shift. Now let's close this out. You can't escape pressure, you can't avoid stress, you can't control chaos, but you can train yourself to stop breaking under it. Pressure doesn't break the mind, misunderstanding does. And that misunderstanding often shows up as overthinking. You don't overthink because something is wrong with you. You overthink because nobody ever taught you how your mind works. Your thoughts feel like a room full of voices talking over each other. You try to focus, but your brain zooms in on every regret, every mistake, every what if, like it's breaking news. Here's the truth nobody tells you. We spent years learning math formulas, but not 1 hour learning how to manage our thoughts. We memorized the planets in our solar system, but never learned how to navigate the thoughts orbiting our mind. Today, we slow everything down. You're going to learn the tools school never taught you. How to understand your thoughts, calm your mind, and see your overthinking for what it really is. A skill gap, not a flaw. If your mind feels loud, wait until you hear what silence actually feels like. You're not drowning in thoughts. You're drowning because nobody taught you to swim. Most people live inside their thoughts, reacting to every mental notification that pops up. Metacognition is stepping outside the conversation in your head. It's switching from being a character in the story to being the narrator. Watch what happens the moment you stop arguing with your thoughts and start observing them. Tool, notice, name, neutralize. Step 1, notice it. Okay, my thoughts are spiraling. Step 2, name it. This is just my brain doing worst-case scenario mode. Step 3, neutralize it. Relax, it's a thought, not a command. Say this once, and your brain goes from panic mode to power mode almost instantly. Most thoughts don't need solving, they just need witnessing. What thought pattern keeps showing up lately? Keep that thought in mind. It's about to make Chapter 2 hit harder. Your mind isn't broken for wandering. It's designed to wander. Your brain has an auto-thought mode. It revisits the past, rehearses the future, and loops the same mental tabs over and over. Your brain isn't overthinking. It's buffering. The 2-4-6 reset is a game changer. Breathe in for 2, hold for 4, exhale for 6. That's it. In under 10 seconds, you can stop a spiral before it even begins. In less than 10 seconds, you shut down spiraling thoughts, calm your nervous system, and pull your mind back into the present. It's basically a soft reboot for your brain. You don't need to silence your mind. You just need to guide it back. When does your mind wander the most? Morning or night? Feeling mentally tired doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're overloaded. Your mind is like a phone battery, and even unused apps drain energy. I should remember that. Every unfinished decision, every tiny worry, drains mental power. Your brain isn't overwhelmed. It's just managing way too many open tabs. Your brain isn't tired. It's cluttered. So you simplify, same morning routine, same decision rules, and those little if X arrow then Y auto responses. Your brain loves predictability. Give it rules, and it stops panicking. Boom! Half your mental drama disappears because your brain finally knows what to expect. Your brain never needed more power, it needed fewer tabs. If this is helping, tap like. It tells YouTube to push this to more people who need it. Trying to stop thoughts is like trying to stop the weather. Thoughts happen automatically, but you don't have to stand inside every storm. Use the phrase "I'm noticing the thought that." The moment you say it, you create space between you and your mind. Distance creates clarity, clarity creates peace. You don't have to fight storms that pass on their own. Your attention decides what becomes a problem. Attention is not a spotlight, it's a flashlight. Anxiety hijacks it and shines it on the worst-case scenario. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method to bring your mind back home. Gently notice 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This sensory reset guides your attention away from spiraling thoughts and into calm awareness. Sometimes clarity is simply choosing a new direction. And once you control your attention, your emotions start listening too. You don't feel bad. Bad isn't an emotion. When everything feels like stress, your brain treats everything as danger. Use an emotion color palette instead of broad labels. Rather than saying you're angry, identify whether you feel irritated, overwhelmed, or disrespected. Instead of sad, clarify whether you feel disappointed, lonely, or drained. The moment you name the emotion, you stop drowning in it. Name the emotion, and the emotion stops naming you. Your mind operates through shortcuts. So, create intentional ones. For example, if you begin to spiral, you take 3 slow breaths. If someone pressures you, you calmly say, "I'll respond later." You don't need discipline when you have defaults. Your future self will thank you for every decision you automate today. You don't learn by stuffing information in, you learn by pulling it out. Do a quick daily micro-check. What tool do I need right now? One question, instant clarity. Using the tool builds the skill, not knowing it. This is the chapter most people forget and the one that changes everything. These skills don't add, they multiply. Attention improves metacognition. Metacognition reveals emotions. Emotional clarity improves decisions. Better decisions reduce spirals. You're not eliminating overthinking, you're upgrading the system underneath it. And the upgrade isn't finished yet, wait for the ending. You're not an overthinker. You are an undertrained thinker who is finally learning the manual. Start with one tool. Practice it daily. Let clarity compound. Your mind was never broken, it was waiting for guidance. If you made it this far, you're not just watching, you're actually trying to change how you think. Don't rush away from that. Let this sink in. If this helped you see your mind more clearly, stay here. Subscribe, so the next time you feel overwhelmed, pressured, or stuck in your head, you have something solid to come back to. And if you want to build the kind of mental strength that makes people stop and say, "Wow, nothing shakes you," watch my video. Build a mind so strong. It scares people. The psychology they don't teach you. In that video, we dive into emotional control, resilience, the mindset behind unshakable mental toughness, how to turn failure into fuel, and how to build a mind that becomes your strongest weapon. And if you want more right now, check out the Stickology World playlist. Stickology World, life makes more sense in stick figure.